Hello Star Citizens and Meridian members, and welcome back to another brand new tutorial. This is going to be a tutorial on mining. If you want to get started with mining, first thing to do is head to any rentals terminal on stations. So in here we'll find two mining ships, either the Argo Mole and the Myth Prospector. The Argo Mole is for more industrial mining as a group, and the Prospector is for solo mining. So we're going to start with the Prospector. First thing I will say is that all mining ships basically require extensive modification before they can become true money makers, and we will go through that at a later point. But for now, we are just going to pull out the Prospector and go mining. So this is the Prospector. It has ore bags on the side, and this is the mining laser up at the front. We're just going to hop in through this door on the side. But now you're probably thinking, Ran, where do we actually head for mining? And I'm so glad you asked. So if we pull up these ore stats from a website called Regolith, which details a bunch of the spawning stats, it will show you that for the F and A class ores, Selin is actually one of the better bets, with Daymar not far behind. And I like Selin purely because it has the highest amount of Quantanium, which is where the real money is. Unfortunately, you can't really mine Quantanium much with the base Prospector. You have to upgrade it. We'll get into that later, but what we're going to do is we're going to head for Taronite, Bexlite and Gold to start with. The idea is this first mining run should, firstly, it will help pay for your upgrades, and secondly, it should allow you to generate money to begin saving up for a proper Prospector. To purchase, the Prospector stands at about 3 million, whereas the Mole for proper industrial mining stands at around 9 million. So both are fairly expensive. However, when you start mining Quantanium, then it becomes a lot more worth it, as you could potentially get 2 million per rock of Quantanium. Anyway, now we've picked Selin as our place to mine, we need to know what actual rocks to mine. And again, these stats taken from Regolith will immediately show us the split. So we can immediately see that igneous, obsidian. Now, if we look at igneous, we can see that's got a high amount of Taronite. If we look at granite, we can see that's got the most amount of Bexlite. And if we look at felsic, we can see that's got the most amount of gold. So we probably want to prioritize Taronite because it goes for more. So we're going to look for igneous, maybe obsidian as well. So these are the kind of rocks you want to go for. Equally as well, we will just be checking rocks as we go just to see what they have got. Anyway, we're going to head out to Selin. And here we are on Selin. So it doesn't really matter where you go. Maybe go the side where the sun is, so it's easier to see. But the idea is that you just kind of want to cruise along the surface and just press tab to scan. And this is what you want to find. You see these unknown signals? You want to fly towards these. Scanning all the while. There, we've got quite a few of them. Okay, let's see. You'll generally find ore deposits like more commonly in the mountains. So that's kind of where you want to go. Oh, look at that. A bunch of igneous deposits. That's what we want. As you fly up to these, what you want to do is we want to press N to get the landing gear out. And then we want to press M and we'll pull out the mining head. Ta-da! So you can see at the bottom it says Arbor mining laser. So that's your type of mining laser. On the right, it shows you how much cargo we have. So we have 32 SCU. And at the top, we have fracture mode. So fracture mode is used to split up all these big rocks into little pieces. So you can see over here and it's green. It's showing you, yes, this rock can be fractured. If you press Alt and left click, it will go to extraction mode, which is used after we fractured a rock. If we hover over this rock with the extraction mode on, there's a little arrow that'll tell us to switch back. Also, the scan is showing that we've got laranite and aluminium and inert materials. Inert materials you never really want, but also it's telling you how big the rock is, its resistance and its instability, and whether or not you can mine it. This is impossible, so we're going to move over to the next rock and see what it has. So just keep pressing tab to scan. Occasionally you may have to fire a laser at it just for it to see. Here we go. EV composition laranite. Okay, that's a potentially good one. We'll come back to that. You want to scan basically all the rocks in the area and determine which ones are best, and then hoover up only those ones to save on your space. Now, once you've found the rock you want to mine, what we need to do now is go and check Regolith. So this is the Regolith site, And this is where I get all my data about ores and mining from. So there's mining loadout, there's work order calculator, we'll use that one later. But we want to go for cluster calculator. So you grab this, you press click to add scan, and you can put in everything. So for example, we can put in igneous, then we put in the mass of the actual rock, which is 4060. We put in the resistance, which is 31%. We put in instability, which is 14.66. And we're going to put in Laranite, which we can see it's not actually an A class, it's actually a B class, but Laranite's still kind of valuable, so we're going to go for that. So we're going to go for 50, and then it's also got aluminium, so we're going to go to 47. Oh, no, 47, not 57. Right, so you press save on that, and it will show you that this is worth about 25k, and enough ore for half a prospector. Personally, I don't think that's going to be too worth it. So I'm actually going to go over to survey these Geist deposits and see if we've got a Taranite or Bexlite or gold, which is what we want. So I'll probably come back when I found a decent deposit. When scanning these Geist deposits, we also found a Quantanium rock. This is the most valuable resource. However, the moment you have it mined and basically in your ore pods, it will explode after 30 minutes. So basically, as soon as you get Quantanium, you have to basically book it back to a station in order to get it refined. What we are going to do though is quickly put it into the calculator just to show you how much you can make from Quantanium. Now, if we see that this has been added, this immediately comes to 109k just from this one rock, and will only fill up about 0.4 of the prospector. So that's about 40% of the cargo. Pretty valuable there. Right, now over here as well, we did find a proper like Bexlite deposit that we can mine. So we're going to put that into the calculator and show how much we're actually going to get from that. Right, let's switch over to the calculator again. And there we are. After putting it in, we'll see it will fill up about 0.6 of the prospector, but will net us about 70k. So yeah, we're going to crack on with mining that. So now you're probably wondering how you actually mine. It's very simple. You just hover in front of the rock, press left click, and it'll bring the laser on, and you'll see you've got a red bar and a green bar on the right. Now, using scroll wheel, you can increase the charger level of your laser. So you want to gradually dial it up more and more and more until, yes, you see on the charger level there's a little green bar which is slowly increasing on the right next to our laser power. That's good. You can also see there's a laser range as well. You want to keep that in the green. You see that's too far, so you want to basically sit somewhere like here. And that's where the lasers are going to be kind of optimal. And as you get closer to the green bar, you can see the charger level starts to fluctuate in speed. That will go up quite quickly. Now, it doesn't want to go too far up, so you want to dial back some of the power so it stays in the green but doesn't jump into the red. Because sometimes when it goes straight into the green, it'll jump straight up to the red if your power's at 100%. So you want to immediately oh, it's jumped up again. Dial back the power. Now, it's telling us to switch to extraction mode, so we do that by pressing Alt left click. There we are. And now you just simply click over the deposit and you just start hoovering it up. So you can immediately see we've got some Bexlite there, and we'll just keep hoovering up. And there we are. 0.6 of the thing. Oh, there's also this over here. Is this? Well, this can also be harvested as well. Oh, this is that's Taranite. Oh, we got a bit of Taranite in there and a bit more titanium. Right, okay, we're gonna head off and we're gonna see if we can find another deposit. Oh, look, there's one over there. We're gonna fly over there and go and look at that. And here we are, we found a obsidian deposit with Taranite. So we're just going to mine that in the same way. Just blast it with 100% laser power. Try and fly away a bit so we're at optimal range, because that just makes life a little easier. There we go, just hover here. I'm just literally tapping forward and backward to try and keep us there. Nearly there. Oh, it's into optimal. Oh, it's jumping a bit. So we'll dial back laser power. Dial it up a bit to make sure it stays in the green. Oh, we're drifting off. Dial it back. Because the higher it gets into the green, the more unstable the actual beam becomes. And a high possibility that it'll jump into the red. There we go. And it's now split apart. Now we're just going to go into extraction and hoover up the rest. Already we're getting a good amount of Taranite. And we're already full. You see, this is the kind of annoying thing about the prospector, is it fills up rather quickly. So now we're going to jump into space and start looking for a good place to refine all this. Right, now we're in space, what we're going to do is open Regolith and go to the refineries, because each refinery has their own specific bonuses when it comes to different ores. So let's switch over to Regolith. So here we are in the work order calculator. So what we want to do is firstly, we want to put all of our ore into this calculator. So if we just enable mining mode on our ship, we can actually see the breakdown. There we are. Now here, you can immediately see it saying 96k. If we change the station to a different one, let's say Lively Pathway, no change. Faint Glen, it goes down to 95. Ambitious Dream, it changes. Green Glade, 96. Terra Gateway, 96. Mont Icarus, it jumps up to 103k. Long Forest, it's 102. Shallow Frontier. So if we stay with Modern Icarus and then we change through the different methods. So we've got Dink Solventation, which is 103. We've got all of these different methods. Ferron Exchange, it looks pretty good. Gaskin Process. So it looks like Ferron Exchange and Pyrometic as well as Dink Solventation yield the best result. So now we'll head to Modern Icarus. Right, so now we're at Icarus Station. We're just going to send the Prospector just straight down into storage. Where is the door? There we go. And now make it accessible to the refinery. So we're just going to head into the elevator and head to the refinery deck. And here we are. So you want to take an immediate left out of the elevator and head towards where that is there. Just over here, follow the sign to service, and we're going under here. Again, following the sign to service. Now on the right, that's the mining support center where you can buy additional mining heads and tools. We'll go through that in a second. But up here, we are going to head to refinement processing and over to this terminal here. There is that where you can sell the ore directly to the station. It's not worth it. I don't generally do it. Anyway, you log into here, press begin. And then over here, select material location. So you want to select the Myth Prospector, which should be full of ore. There we are. Set up work order. So we want to select all of this. Obviously, it's going to filter out all the inert material. So now, Pyrosymmetric, and we can press get quote. And that'll take an hour and 38 minutes. Okay. If we do Ferron Exchange and get quote, that'll take 3 hours. And that'll cost 4,000. How? What was it? What did the other one cost? 12,000. Okay. And then we had Dink Solventation, which costs the least but take the longest. So we are going to do the fastest one here. We're just going to press confirm, and that'll keep going. Work order accepted. There we are. So now we're going to be back when that is finished. And so we're back. So if we go to the refinement center, press begin. Okay. 3 minutes to go. So while we're doing that, what you would want to have done if you want to have a freighter already in the station ready, we've already got our C1. But while we're waiting for that, we're just going to go into the supply shop and have a look. So these are different mining heads which you can equip to your mining ship. So if we go to a refinery shop and we select mining laser heads, so if you have the Lancet, you have the Arbor. The Arbor's the one we already have. So there's different versions. If you click on them, for example, this one, you can see it's size 2. So that's meant to go on the Argo Mole. If you want to look for size 1s. The size 1 Helix is actually what I use on my Prospector. And then there are other ones you can use, like the Hofstede's pretty good. And the Impact I've heard is okay as well. It just depends on what specifically you want to mine. And then if we go into... Does it show mining modules here? Mining modules, here we go. So you can get all of these different modules which add different things to your mining laser. And different mining lasers have different slots. For example, my Helix one has 2 slots, but some of them only have 1 slot. So stuff it adds like extraction, laser power, 150%, but it will catastrophic charge rate minus 60%, but resistance is plus 15%, and it will show you how many uses. So this one has 6 uses, and the duration. You've got Lifeline, you've got Rhyme, you've got Optimum, Stampede module, Focus modules. I hear the Focus ones and the Stampede ones are quite good, as well as Surge modules, which aren't available here. And then there are gadgets as well. Now these are the sort of things that you want to use if you are just hiring a mining ship. As these gadgets, you can put a bunch of these on a rock and it will basically improve your ability to mine it. So for example, you have the Wave Shift, which is less instability and makes the charge windows bigger, but lowers the charge window rate. So that basically means that green bar that we were using to mine, that's optimal charge. So it will make that bigger, but it will make it move the bar actually fill up slower. Saber, we've got more instability, the charge window size increases and the resistance decreases, so it makes rocks basically have less resistance, so they're easier to mine. And then you've got Stalwart, so less laser instability. The actual modifier for the cluster, I think that's all cluster, is increased by 30% and increases optimal charge window rate. That increases the speed of how quickly the bar fills up, but it makes the actual window size smaller. And what have you got here? You've got bore mat, less laser instability, more cluster modifier, but adds 10% resist. So I feel like the Saber's probably a good one because it decreases the resist by 50%. And yes, these stack as well. So, and you can put multiple on one rock. So that's what they do. They physically attach to the rock, and then you have to play a little kind of puzzle game to sort them out. Anyway, let's go up and see if it's finished. There we go. Begin. So what you can do is select storage options. So you can either have it to be the station, or you can send it to a ship. Why is it not letting me send it to a ship? Sometimes it won't let you send it to a ship. We're going to head up to our hangar with our freighter to go and sell them. So we're in our hangar and we've called up our freighter. Now this is all the material we've actually mined. It just appears in your station inventory here and you just pull it up. But all you have to do is basically just start shoving all of this equipment onto your particular ship. Right, now the ship is loaded, we are going to head over to sell our cargo. Now, on Regolith, when you set up your work order, it should tell you where the actual best place to sell all of your ore is. But I will quickly show you again now. So here we can see it's Orothan. Also, if you do a drop down, it actually shows you other places you can go. Right, so we've now arrived at Orothan on Crusader. I will say, if you can't do Orothan, look at the other options, because usually there's not too much of a difference in price. Like, the other one, I think, that it was showing me was New Babbage, which was only like 100k. Now, you don't actually have to transfer everything to the cargo, although you can. You can just send your ship directly into storage, which is what we're going to do. There we are. And now let's head down to the elevator. Okay, here we are. So now we're going to head to the commercial area, which is round here, through here. This way, Skyway Transit. So you want to head this way towards the transit center. Here we go, through here, through border control. Welcome to Orothan, thank you. And we want to take these elevators here. Here we are. Now, Cloud View Center. That's where the commercial center is. So we'll wait for the tram here. And here is the shuttle. So let's just hop in and just sit down. And we'll just head to the Cloud Center. And here we are. We're just arriving. Right, now as you get off the shuttle, you'll find the habitation building here. That is the showroom over there through Crusader. And the actual commercial zone is over here. So you want to take the bridge over, like so. And you can see the hospital. Let's look at all these signs. That's the Thresher Spa. Trade and development is indeed this way. Ah, yes, I believe that is the trade sign there. So it's actually in here, if we look. Trade and development division. In here. So you want to head around into here, and you'll find basically a bunch of stock market stuff. And commodity shop. So go into here. Now, you want to press select location, and you want to press your C1 Spirit. Then you want to select this. You can see it's in demand. You want to select the entire max, and there you see the Bexolite is selling for 66k. So we'll sell that. Processing complete. Then we'll select all of this. Press max. See, it's selling for about 30k. Max, that's another 5k. But yeah, while it's not perfect, now you're probably thinking, hey Ran, you only made about like 95 to 100k with that. And you had to wait, 2 hours for it to refine and so on. The key to this is firstly, doing a lot of this in bulk. Literally just going out mining and just queuing up all the work orders all in one go, collecting them all in one go, and then all going to sell them and hopefully selling them all in the same place like Orothan, and you'll just get a massive payout. Secondly, mining Quantanium is the key moneymaker here, but you feasibly can't do that if you've simply rented one. What I advise you do, if you've just rented a prospector, is just simply do what I've done over and over, but queue up everything at the end and just go and sell it, and then use that money to buy a proper prospector, because once you fully upgrade the prospector, you can then potentially mine some elements of Quantanium, And that is where the real money kicks in, because you can make millions. Alternatively, you and a couple of friends can club together to buy a Argo mole and go from there. And because the Argo mole has 3 mining heads, you can set each up for a different loadout and then go from there. So, mining early game, does it kind of suck? Yes, I think so. Would you be better off hauling? Also, yes. Mining later on, when you have the proper equipment for it, can be extremely lucrative, and I think it's just behind hauling in terms of the money you can make. But of course, a lot of it is luck based depending on how much Quantanium you actually find. The first time I actually recorded this tutorial, I found a 2 million rock of Quantanium, but I couldn't mine it without an Argo, and my souped up prospector did absolutely nothing to it. So yeah. Equally, this new update 4.3, the Drake Golem have been released in shops, and that may be a cheaper option. I don't know. But that is also going to be a bit of a wild card, as that is. Anyway, that about wraps up for this video. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next tutorial, where we'll probably be doing another form of mining. Anyway, thank you all for watching, everyone, and goodbye!